In this video, I'm going to give you one day trading tool that has turned me extremely profitable. It has helped me in my trading journey, and I will not ever be trading without this one tool. It is called TPO charts, or known as time price opportunities. I'm going to share my screen and get into this tool and really break it down for you, but I'm going to give you a top level view of what it is and why I pay attention to it and the elements that make up a TPO chart. I'm not going to get into strategies in this video, but I am going to give you a 30,000 foot view of what it looks like, so that you can then implement it into your trading journey. So I'm going to share my screen here and we'll dive right into it. This is called TPO charts, or time price opportunities. Now, this is generally looked at on a 30-minute time frame. Okay, a 30-minute time frame. This is the time frame that you really want to pay attention to when looking at TPO charts. TPO charts are made up of three different elements. That is one, value area, which is what you see this pink box here. Value area is where 70% of business has been conducted on the trading day, right? So 70% on this day here, what is this? On the 2nd, May 2nd, 70% of business on the NASDAQ here was traded between 17,653 and 17,482 on May 2nd. That is 70% of business being conducted. The next one is initial balance. It is the initial balance high and initial balance low, where it's the first hour of the trading session. So, and on Central Time here, the market opens at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. So an hour would be 9:30 Central Time. And that's what you see, this yellow box here. This was initial balance high. All right. Initial balance high around 17,601 and initial balance low at 17,386. And that is the first hour of the day where there was a high set and a low set within that first hour. I pay attention to this because I like to look for failed auctions above initial balance high or initial balance low, where if we have, say, price, like if you look here, which we'll get into these letters here in a minute, what they mean. But price came down and tested. We hit the initial balance low here, which actually this isn't the initial balance. So let's find a better opportunity here, where we break out above initial balance high, say on price, and then we reject it and come back down into initial balance would be considered a failed auction. So a break above the high or a break below the low, where it then comes back inside initial balance and closes inside initial balance, would be what a technical term would be a failed auction on the initial balance high or low. So that's one thing I use the initial balance for. Again, not going to get too much into it, but that's a good tool, or a good a thing to pay attention to when looking at your charts. The third element is point of control. This is where price spent the most time on the chart, or in that price range, right? So this point of control here is value area point of control, right? And this around 539 to 530. You can see here on the TPOs. This is where time spent the most, or price spent the most time. Now, let's get into what these letters mean. So TPO charts are made up of TPOs, and those TPOs are these letters. You see A, B, C, D, E, all the way up basically to the close, which would be M, which is what you see. Actually, you can't see that right here. Zoom in. You see the M here, which is where the close is, right? So that's what TPO means. And it's time price opportunity broken down into these letters. Now, each letter is 30 minutes, right? So the A time frame is the first 30 minutes. The B time frame is the second 30 minutes. And you can see how price moved on these TPOs. What I like to pay attention to are the three things that I broke down, right? The value area, point of control, and initial balance. So again, I'm not going to get too much into what the letters do or mean, but again, each letter represents 30 minutes. So in the first 30-minute time frame, it would be the A. In the second 30-minute time frame, it would be B. The third 30-minute time frame, it would be C. And so I pay attention to what these prices are doing. Now, when I'm looking at TPO charts, I'm not really looking at... Now, I am looking at the current day, right? But what I mainly use TPO charts for, if I'm not paying attention to like initial balance, or I'm looking at the value area from the previous days. So if I go back, if I look at here, say on the 3rd, this was Friday, right? So if we're trading on Friday, I'm looking at what value area was the previous day, because if we're, gapping up, like, which is pretty much what we did, and we're trading at higher prices, that's telling me that we're accepting value or accepting price at higher areas, and that value is not being accepted lower, right? So if we're trading, say, let's go back to the first here. Again, just top level view and not really getting too much in the strategy. You can see on the first here, this was value area, right? And then we go to the second where we pretty much, where we open at? We open above value area. We opened here. So that'd be above that day's value area, and trade back down into it where we're accepting value in this area. Okay. So I'm looking to see where price is accepting value. If we're just raging upwards and going above, say, previous day's value area, then there's a lot of conviction that there's a lot of buyers, longer time frame buyers into the market, and there's not very many sellers, and that we're going to keep continuing moving higher. Now, again, do your own research on TPO charts. Don't just like take it for what you see. Like, really dive into research and what value areas mean. What does initial balance mean? What does point of control mean? Because that's going to give you a lot more context around what the market's actually doing, right? Again, this is all for context. This is not this, while this sometimes can influence trading decisions, it's more so giving me an idea what price is doing, so then I can therefore make decisions. I'm not purely making decisions based off TPO charts. However, it's giving me an idea and context of what the market generated information is giving me, so I can then make logical and educated decisions on my next trade. But again, really do research on value area. Again, 70% of where business was conducted during this single day, right? Initial balance, first hour of the day. Okay, we see initial balance set here. And then value area, point of control, where price spent the most time. To give you kind of like a strategy on, say, point of control, I might look to say, okay, so let's just say that we're trading on this day. Like, this day is happening currently on the second, but I'm looking at the first here, and I see value area, point of control here is anywhere from 470 to like 465. So if I'm trading here and I understand where value area was the previous day, or the point of control was the previous day, I might look for price to trade near that point of control and then reject it and come back up, which is essentially what happened in B period, right? We traded below point of control and yes, the previous day's value area, right? So we see in B period, we came down, but then C period, we continued to stay above point of control and rise up, and then we got in a D period, we continued rising up, and then we kind of just consolidated in this general range. So a good long opportunity would have been a rejection below yesterday's value area low, and rejecting a point of control to go lower to then stay above point of control. So that would have been a good strategy to trade and go long off of. That's why I use previous days. Now, while I do look at current day, previous days information is super, super important when you're trading intraday, because you can then say, okay, I know what price has done, where it has been, and how it reacted. Now let's see what happens when we retest those levels, or if we just start, shooting above or below the yesterday's value area high and low, right? So it's, again, just taking market generated information, and just making logical and educated decisions intraday. There is so much more to these charts than what I've gone over, but this is just a tool that's really excelled my trading journey and helped me become extremely, extremely profitable. So I would encourage you guys to go on YouTube, research TPOs. There's a market profile book by, I think it's James Dalton or Jim Dalton, market profile. Get that book, read it. It goes basically over everything that you see here, and also strategies. And see how you like this tool. See if this tool really helps you like it helps me. And good luck. If you guys like this kind of video, be sure to smash the like button down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to get more content, because I'm going to be putting out a ton of educational content to help you guys excel and get better in your trading journey. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.